Hi.
Hi.
Isabel, so what are we doing today?
Hiking. Last shakedown before the AT. Crazy stuff.
Very exciting, very exciting.
We just had lunch.
Yes. Met some cool people.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about them.
Yeah. Already?
Yeah.
Little Summit, Little Calf Mountain. Little Calf Mountain. It's very chilly. Me and Isabel went on one last shakedown hike / one night of camping on Sunday. And everything was going well. It was going really, really well until we got to camp. And I'm setting up my tent and I put on my puffer jacket and I start sneezing. And my nose is getting runny and I'm starting to feel awful. And I came to the conclusion that it was because I had just sprayed permethrin on my jacket like the day before. And I noticed that it didn't sink in all the way. And I was like, it has to be because of this. So I took off the puffer jacket and I layered up more because it was starting to get cold. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna set this down. I'm just trying to survive just the sneezy and my nose was dripping. It was so gross. And luckily I had brought some tissues with me and I used up like 2 packs of tissues. Like I was like, I feel awful. And at this time too, my head started to hurt and I thought I was just hungry. And so we went to make dinner and I thought it would be a good time to test out the adapter that I got for my cook pot because Isabel has a jet boil, and instead of her pouring boiling water into my little pot, I was gonna try and boil it myself because, last shakedown, gotta try out everything before we leave. And it took a really long time for my water to boil. And obviously, like, it takes a while for your water to boil on the stove, but I was not happy with the results of this. So my head is hurting. I'm sitting there. I'm cold because I just have my rain jacket over me instead of my puffer because my puffer was making me feel sick. And I also was like, am I crazy? Like, am I overthinking that it's this puffer that's making me feel sick? But because I wasn't even feeling any better. And I took a Benadryl and I was like, this better make me go to fall asleep really fast tonight. And yeah, and so I eat my dinner, which was the Knorr's buffalo chicken creamy pasta. And I had no milk, I had no butter, and so it was very watery, and I decided to put a little package of chicken in it. This dinner was a mistake. So, and I ate that and it was fine. And I also ate some Nutter Butters, which was a lot better. So we end dinner. I'm still feeling just so gross, so ill. And, we put everything away, brush our teeth, get in PJs. We also decided to sleep in one tent together because it was cold. We were like, this will be a little warmer. and it's about like 6:30-ish, so really early to be going to bed, but we were tired. We had just hiked 8 miles. And so I lay down. I'm like chilly, but I'm like, okay, hopefully I'll warm up. I was chilly, but I was like, I was pretty warm at the beginning. Everything was great. Like, I'm like, I'm tired. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fall asleep really fast tonight. I'm listening. I put a podcast in. I was listening to my podcast. I'm getting all snuggled in. And then as I'm laying there, like my nose is still like running. I'm still like, I can't breathe out of my nose right now. And I'm laying there, breathing out of my mouth. I'm cold. And then my stomach starts to hurt. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I felt nauseous. I felt like I was gonna throw up. Am I gonna throw up right now? I'm just lying there in my sleeping bag. Am I gonna throw up right now? I can't throw up in this tent. This is Isabel's tent. I can't throw up in her tent. That would be so bad. And I had like a gallon Ziploc bag next to me. It was also really cold outside, so I was like, I don't want to get up and go out and just like stand out there. And I'm just laying there like, oh my gosh, am I gonna throw up right now? Am I gonna throw up? Really? I'm gonna throw up? There was a point where I was like, I'm gonna throw up. Like, I think I'm gonna throw up. So I sit up. Isabel goes, are you okay? Like, are you okay? And I go, I feel nauseous. I think I'm gonna go throw up. At that point I was like, it was like starting to like, the feeling. And so I have to unzip the tent, and then I have to unzip the rain fly, and this rain fly on the tent likes to get stuck. So I'm like trying to unzip it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I get out of the tent and I put my shoes on really fast, and then I have to just re-zip the tent up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw up. And unfortunately, I only make it a few steps. I just throw up right there on the ground, pretty close to our tent, which you're not supposed to have food close to your tent. Like, there's a whole process. You shouldn't cook near your tent. You shouldn't leave like your bear canister near your tent, or your hang bag near your tent. There's all these rules to it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I threw up. And I threw up a few times, unfortunately. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I need to get further from the tent. So I had 2 spots of air. It's just so gross. But yeah, so I threw up, and I also felt terrible because Isabel could hear this whole thing. I was like, yeah, I just threw up. She was like, yeah, I heard. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, what do you want to do? I was like, I'm just gonna sit up for a second. My head was still hurting. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Part of me, we were pretty close to the car. Like, we could have hiked out if we really needed to, if it ended up being food poisoning, which luckily it was not. But yeah, so like I'm just sitting there, and I finally lay back down. I fall asleep for a few hours, but then I wake up, and then it was really bright out, and at the time I was like, oh, okay, thank goodness, like the sun is like starting to rise. And I look at my phone and it says 12. And I was like, oh, you're joking. Like, there's no way. I wake up at 12 and I'm not almost about to leave. Yeah, so it was 12. It was midnight. I was like, great. This is just wonderful. And I noticed at that point that my butt is touching the ground. My heart sank. I was like, no, my sleeping pad, are you kidding? So I then have to flip over and kind of like, I was like, I don't want to like get up to like blow up my sleeping pad, but I was cold because I was touching the ground. So I kind of like roll over, and I like am on like all fours, and I'm like blowing up the sleeping pad. And then like I get out to pee, and then I get back in, and I felt so much warmer. I was like, oh, thank goodness. So then I thought I'd fall asleep, but I ended up kind of just laying there the rest of the night in my sleeping pad, like, like in and out of sleep, and my sleeping pad deflated again, and so I had to blow it up at like 3 a.m. But that time, luckily, I figured out that I could kind of like roll on my stomach while I'm in my sleeping bag still, and kind of just blow it up while I'm on it. And I was very grateful that that worked, so I didn't have to be cold again. My night did not go as well as I was hoping. with the throwing up and the sleeping pad and being so cold and the headache and blah, blah, blah. But I did learn that I can do these things, and that the reason that I threw up and was sick was most likely due to the permethrin not actually being absorbed by my clothes, because it was just sitting on top. Because Isabel was doing some research and she said that, yeah, it was probably the permethrin. I can't say it. Permethrin. It was probably the reason why I was having a reaction and vomited. So yeah, it wasn't it wasn't the best night of sleep that I've ever had. I didn't really sleep. According to my Garmin, I slept 5 hours, but that's pretty generous. A generous 5 hours.
Hey, so Katie and I just had our last shakedown before we start the AT in about a week and a half. And it was a beautiful day of hiking. We hiked kind of near where I live on the AT. So we did about almost 9 miles the first day, and then just 2 to get back before she had to work the next day. And it was a beautiful day of hiking, super nice weather the first day. You could kind of notice that it was dropping in temperature throughout the day, but it wasn't too bad. When we finally got into camp, it started dropping pretty quickly, so we both kind of got our gear on, our winter gear on, and made dinner quickly and then got in the tent. So yeah, it went very well. I was super happy with all of my gear that I've got. It was funny though, because so over the night I had some really weird dreams. Katie and I were sharing the tent, and like a couple of times in the night, like I heard her go and get up to go to the bathroom or something. And so I was in the tent and I heard her getting up to get outside, and I was like, oh, okay, she's probably just going to the bathroom again. And then I hear her like running around. I was like, like I guess she must have been really cold or something, and like is trying to warm herself up. So I was like, okay, like I'll just let her be. And then I hear her starting to shout, hey bear, hey bear. I was like, oh no, there's a bear. And so I was like trying out these new headphones or earplugs that night. I was like, oh my gosh, like my earplugs are so good that like I didn't hear this bear at all. So I'm like trying to like take the earplugs out without losing them, but then also like jump up to go help Katie. And then I'm like not able to move. Like everything's happening in slow motion. Like I can't get out to help Katie with this bear. I was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And then finally I wake up. I'm like, oh, it was a dream. And like, you know, when you're in a dream and you can't really run, that's how it felt getting out of my sleeping bag. So it was kind of funny that happened. But yeah, other than that, had a good trip. That dream was just kind of a funny little thing that happened. Okay, bye.